Let me bring on Will Brooks. He is here, fabulous plant-based vegan athlete that he is. Hey, Will, thanks for being with me. So I'm wondering if you have maybe 3 to 5 tips that you could give people to help them transition to a whole food plant-based diet.
Absolutely. So first and foremost, you need to be patient with yourself. If you're going to make mistakes, everyone does. I did. It's not a reason to give up. Okay. So just stay patient, allow yourself some leeway. I'm hard on myself. So I understand that feeling very much so. Don't worry about it. You're fine. Secondly, go slow. You don't have to go full vegan overnight. Some people do, and they're successful with it, but don't let that make you feel pressured. You don't need to do anything overnight. I cut out certain groups of meat and animal over a few months period of time. And then when I tried to go fully vegan, I didn't succeed. I messed up, so instead of giving up, you just keep trying and you learn along the way, and you're going to make mistakes. Thirdly, I would say if you're not comfortable jumping on Google and just doing your own research, there's nothing wrong with hiring a coach. I do coaching for people who want to transition to a vegan lifestyle. I do coaching for people who want to transition to a vegan lifestyle and maintain muscle mass or gain muscle mass or lose fat. So there's nothing wrong with asking for help. Thirdly, I would say keep an open, or fourthly, actually, keep an open mind. I started trying all kinds of new foods that I never would have eaten had I been, not open-minded. Things like seitan, for example. Back when I was meat-based, I wanted to eat the leanest meat, the meat with the lowest fat and the highest protein and the lowest carbs, and it was ridiculous. But now, since I became vegan, the seitan I eat is actually leaner than the chicken I used to eat. And there's no mammalian estrogen in it. It doesn't require something to be killed. So keep an open mind, try new things. I used to think tofu was extremely strange, and now I love it.
Love it.
There's so many things you can do with tofu. So don't be scared to try new things because there's a whole nother world out there, and it's an amazing one. And lastly, I would say learn to use spices and powders and sauces. Because I see a lot of people, they'll go vegan and they're just throwing like plain broccoli in with plain beans and plain rice. And it's, they're struggling through it. I would struggle through that, so don't be afraid to experiment with different spices and powders. And even if it's terrible, okay, I don't mix that next time. So get experimental, try different things. You'll find your way, I promise.
Tell me, for athletes or for anybody, how do you get your protein?
Well, there's a variety of ways you can get it. As a vegan, as a new vegan, you might think, wow, I only have a handful of options, but really you have a treasure chest of options. So if you're not even looking at the whole food plant-based options, if you want to look at, your seitan, your tempeh, your tofu, even your textured vegetable protein or TVP. Those are some of your more processed options, some less than others, but I partake in all of those. I love those. I also love protein pastas. So that's actually a simple tip to immediately increase your protein as a vegan, where you take your pasta that whatever you make your spaghetti or linguine with, and you switch it out for black bean pasta or edamame pasta or any of those. You're going to instantly increase your protein substantially. A single serving, I believe, of edamame pasta has around 20 grams of protein, and that's plant-based protein. So, and then you can go to the whole food options where you're looking at lentils, which are also a carb source. I love lentils.
Me too.
Yeah, you're looking at beans, black beans, pinto beans, kidney beans. I love beans and rice. I mean, come on, what kind of a combo? You gotta love
the best. Yeah, and so inexpensive and so easy to make, and requires nothing except like a little bit of salsa, maybe cilantro.
Absolutely.
For those of us who are interested in better performance, maybe having more energy throughout the day, maybe you can give us your tips on how to eat like an athlete.
Sure. So what you should do is, and I recommend this to a lot of people, is you need to look up your total daily energy expenditure. And to make that easy, you can just go on Google and type in free TDEE calculator. And that's going to bring up a program where you can type in your age, your height, your weight, your activity level, and it's going to give you through the average of 5 different mathematical equations how many calories they think you need to eat to maintain your body weight. It'll tell you, how much weight you should weigh according to these equations. So that's a good place to start. Now, obviously, that's not going to mean anything if you're not tracking your numbers or you don't know where you're at. So I recommend, that's where a plan comes in. Get with a coach like myself and get a plan mapped out so you know exactly how much to eat, you know where you're at, and it kind of takes the guesswork out of it. So a lot of what I do is carb love. All right. And a lot of people don't like carbs, and I know the keto works for some people. There's vegan keto, and that's great. That's, if you're going to do keto, make sure it's the vegan version. But I love carbs. You'll never hear me say you should cut back on carbs to make your weight. I've done things in the past like carb cycling and low carb diets, and it's always just, your brain feeds off carbs. So
100%.
When you deprive yourself of carbs, I found it difficult to, compile a sentence in my mind, let alone say it completely, just because that's how depleted you are. Not to mention your workouts aren't great. A lot of people who lose weight through low carb diets end up looking good, but they don't feel good.
Mm-hmm.
And what's the point? If you don't feel good, what's the point? So don't be afraid to eat fruit, because fruit is low calorie and it'll fill you up. Don't be afraid to eat, some people are afraid to eat certain veggies because they think, it might be a little higher in sugar. This is my point I want to make, is sugar is your friend if it's coming from places that it came from the earth. If it's man-made, like candy or pop or something that's processed, a lot of people, they hear processed and they're kind of detached from the idea that came from a factory. Like processed, anything that's man-made, you can avoid and you're probably going to be okay. If it came from the earth, you're going to be okay. So make sure to fill up on the good stuff, the stuff that came from the earth. And, even if you don't have time to work out, something like a weighted jump rope, where you wake up in the morning and you do 20 minutes on your back patio or your porch or your basement, that'll be great. I have a climber that I bought off Amazon, and I wake up every morning 6 days a week and I go for a 20-minute climb.
Oh, that's so good.
Yeah. And it's my favorite way to wake up now. I don't even need to drink coffee. I just stumble my way downstairs, get on my climber, and I do it for 20 minutes. And by the time I'm done, I feel great. I've done my cardio, and I can put it behind me. I don't have to worry about it. So you don't need a gym and the big weights to get where you need to go. And you don't need to worry about eating low carb. Just get in your calorie range. Make sure you're getting enough protein, which is very easy to do as a vegan. As far as focusing on your fats and carbs, those will take care of themselves as long as you're getting enough protein and calories from plant-based options.